So today we're going to be doing a bit of a tier list. I know this is a bit different than what I usually do, but I don't just play video games, contrary to popular belief. I have other interests too, like music. I just like sharing stuff I'm interested in, sharing stuff that I like. Now, before we get into it, I just want to let you know that I'm not a music critic. I'm not a music nerd. I'm just a guy who likes listening to Radiohead's music. Now, trust me, I know how this sounds. Radiohead fans have a bit of a reputation for being either very pretentious or just very sad and lonely. So, unfortunately, today I will be reinforcing some stereotypes. So, I guess I'll go over each of the tiers right now, so that you're aware that everything's in its right place when I actually start ranking the albums. C tier is basically, I just feel neutral. You know, it's maybe a little bit underwhelming, but at the same time, I don't think it's bad. I don't think Radiohead even has a bad album. There are just some that stick out to me more than others, and that's why I don't have any like F or D tiers on here. So B tier basically means that the album was enjoyable. There were probably a couple songs on it that I really liked and I will frequently come back to, but at the same time, it didn't stick out to me as much as an A tier or as much as an S tier would. So it's still a good album, but just it's not reaching those heights as some of the higher rankings would. A tier means that the album is very solid front to back. I like most of the songs on it, if not all of them. I would gladly go back and listen to it all the way through again. And then we come to S tier, which is basically those albums that on multiple listens not only hold up, but they also get better. Constantly rediscovering songs on them that I really like. All right, so I mean, with all that out of the way, I guess we'll just get started. We're gonna be doing this in chronological order. So we're gonna be starting off with Pablo Honey, which is their first studio album. I really don't have much to say about Pablo Honey, to be honest. It's just your standard 90s alt-rock album. The best way I can phrase this is that if Pablo Honey, if any of those songs were to come on the radio while I'm driving or something, I wouldn't turn it off, but I also wouldn't think highly enough of it to go back and be like, oh, I gotta write that down. I gotta remember what song that is. Obviously, you can't mention Pablo Honey without mentioning Creep. My favorite thing about Pablo Honey might be just all the jokes people make about Creep and this album as a whole. And I mean, you might be thinking, well, that's kind of disrespectful to the artist to make fun of their art. But I mean, Radiohead fucking hates Pablo Honey themselves.
Anyone can play guitar!
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I certainly don't hate it. I think it's fine. But my main problem, I think, with it, if we're talking from like a sound perspective, is that this album kind of lacks the vocal inflections from Tom that I really like off of most of their other stuff. So I think the best place for me to put Pablo Honey is in C tier. Not a surprise to most people, but I mean, it's a good place to start, and it shows that we only can go up from here. Next up, we have The Bends, which is their second studio album. It's the one with the funny album art, with the guy like, this one's gonna make people mad, and I know I know this opinion is gonna make people mad, but The Bends isn't that much of a step up from Pablo Honey for me. I mean, I like the intro track. Planet Telex has a really nice intro to it, and I really like Fake Plastic Trees, which I was not expecting to like as much as I did, but I mean, the rest of it just kind of underwhelms me. Sorry, it's not a bad album, but it kind of fits into the same category as Pablo Honey, where I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to most of that album again. So we're gonna slide that baby into the C tier. It's better than Pablo Honey. I will give it that. But I don't know how much of a compliment that is. All right, next up we have OK Computer. This album is fucking legendary to a lot of people. So I don't want to come off as if I am putting it low just because I want to be a hipster, but I really do have to put it, I'm just fucking with you. It goes in S tier. Some opinions are so widely held just because they're correct. OK Computer stands out to me as just a completely front to back solid album. There's not a single lull on the album where I'm thinking like there's a drop in quality. It fires on all cylinders at all times, and I think that it's really great. It's a step up from both of the previous albums. Most people know about the most popular songs off of this, which is Karma Police and Paranoid Android. They're great songs. But I mean, if you want me to be honest, my favorite songs off of OK Computer are Airbag and Electioneering. Electioneering specifically, just because of how energetic that song is. But yeah, S tier for OK Computer. That's not going to surprise a lot of people. All right, so next up we have Kid A, which is their 4th studio album. A lot of people's second favorite. Some people even think it's better than OK Computer. For me, it's not bad. It's a good record, and I understand how much of a change it was from OK Computer. The greatest left turn in music history. I don't know about that. I just listen to their music and I think it's good. This album does earn props from me for being experimental, as well as having some of the weirdest lyrics on any album I've ever listened to. I mean, throughout their discography, they've been very metaphorical with their lyrics, but I really like the climate change angle that they went for on the song Idiotech. That's probably my favorite song off of the entire record. But then there's like the opening track where it's like, Tom, what the fuck do you mean you're sucking on a lemon? What do you mean you woke up sucking on a lemon? I don't know what the fuck that means. So this is basically where they became like bleep bloop music. I mean, I can admire a lot of the risks that they took, especially following OK Computer. They could have probably just done OK Computer again, just a little bit different, but they really wanted to push themselves. I can appreciate that. But do I think that it can even come close to OK Computer in terms of like song quality? No, not for me. If I wanted to be funny, I would give it A tier, but I'm going to give it B tier just because I'm not. Now we have Amnesiac. And honestly, it's on par with Kid A for me. Both Kid A and Amnesiac have one song on each album that really stands out to me. On Kid A, it was Idiotech, and on Amnesiac, it is Knives Out. They're completely different songs, but it's really great. I love Tom's vocal inflections on this song. Amnesiac feels a little bit like after the major risk they took with Kid A. They're trying to find a bit of a balance between more organic sound production and like the super synthesizer heavy production they got off of Kid A. But I think overall I can put it up there with Kid A as being a good album, but it's not one that I'm super eager to return to. So next up we have Hail to the Thief, which is when things start really getting good, in my opinion. They traded out a lot of the synthesizer heavy production off of the previous 2 albums for a bit of a more organic sound, and I think it's better off that way. 2 + 2 = 5 is one of my favorite Radiohead songs. The way that this song just builds up tension and then just lets it all explode is fantastic. I love how that song kind of takes you on a trip. There still are some good synthesizer leads on this album, songs like Backdrifts. And then there's Where I End and You Begin, which I feel like is kind of underrated. Yeah. Hail to the Thief, a step up from the previous 2 albums. I'm going to give that A tier. Next up we have In Rainbows, an album which has received a little bit of a renaissance in terms of people liking it, at least relative to its other more popular peers down here. It was the first Radiohead album that I listened to, and even all these years later, after first listening to it, it still holds up. It is a fantastic album. It's probably the most all over the place in terms of tone. You go from a song like Body Snatchers, which is super energetic, super raw, and then you go to something like All I Need, which is this really sad sort of ballad that evolves over time. And this album is just full of super dense, layered sounds, like 15 Step with that weird time signature it's got going on with the drum machine. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention what is probably my favorite Radiohead song, Jigsaw Falling Into Place. Similarly to 2 + 2 = 5, as I mentioned earlier, but the way that this song evolves over time and just grows in complexity, more and more instruments are added over time. It's fantastic. There was never a doubt in my mind that In Rainbows was going to be high up on this list. And I'd be lying to myself if I didn't give it S tier, even though I know it's getting a lot of love recently. That's still just how I feel. King of Limbs, basically just bleep bloop music again. This is going to make a lot of people mad, and I know that for a fact, but I'm honestly going to put the King of Limbs into A tier, above Kid A. Something about the songs on this album just really intrigue me, and I don't know what it is. The intro track, Bloom, sounds like the sonic equivalent of if the world was falling apart around you and you're falling into like a mental breakdown. Songs like Morning Mr. Magpie and Feral are both a bit repetitive, but I still enjoy them nonetheless, especially Tom's vocals on Morning Mr. Magpie. And then there's Lotus Flower, which is basically What I think is the best song off this album, I really like Tom's vocals on this. It's a bit understated, but at the same time, I like the lyrics. I like his vocals. But yeah, overall, The King of Limbs, great album. I expected it to be a lot worse than it was, especially given its reputation. But it definitely doesn't fit in with this discography. It feels a bit out of place. Then finally, we arrive at A Moon-Shaped Pool, which is their most recent album, and god damn it, it is fucking depressing. A lot of melodic, understated songs on here, and the lyrics are just... This album probably is my favorite opener out of any Radiohead album. Burn the Witch is just a fantastic song with these driving strings. I love the song Full Stop, basically for the same reasons that I love 2 + 2 = 5 and Jigsaw Falling Into Place, the way that song builds tension and then just kind of explodes. It's a bit more understated than 2 + 2 = 5, but the way that it follows that same blueprint, I really love it. Identikit is really simplistic in terms of production. Most of the first half of this song is just Tom singing with a bit of a bass line behind him, but it's still really nice. I really appreciate whenever they give Tom's vocals a chance to shine, and they really help use the instrumentation to supplement that. Daydreaming and True Love Waits are just really sad. Very mellow, very dramatic, but not feeling overly so. And what I think is my favorite song off of this album is actually Present Tense. It was a song that kind of flew under my radar after my first listen through, but after subsequent listens, I really like the chorus on this song. I really like the production. I really like the lyrics on this song. Tom singing about trying to keep things moving, so you don't just sit there wallowing in your own sadness. A Moon-Shaped Pool, for me, is gonna go in S tier. In my opinion, the emotional potency of that album really does put it up there with OK Computer and Radiohead. And Radiohead, what? With OK Computer and In Rainbows. So there you go. There's my Radiohead tier list. But now we have to go into the S tiers and figure out which of these is my favorite. And for me, I think it really does come down to In Rainbows and A Moon-Shaped Pool. OK Computer is great, but it doesn't have that same sentimental value for me that the other two albums do. Both In Rainbows and A Moon-Shaped Pool are just so emotionally potent. Both of them are so well made. The instrumentation, the vocals, Tom is at his best on both of these albums. But I think if I had to truly choose one over the other, I have to give it to In Rainbows. It might be a bit cliche to choose my first Radiohead album as my favorite, but even over the years, as I've returned to it, just every song on this album is just so well done, and I can actually listen to it without wanting to like go lay down under my covers and never see the world again. So there it is. That's my Radiohead tier list. Feel free to share your opinions in the comments. Be respectful, please. Everybody's got different listening preferences. Everybody's got a different favorite song or favorite album, so just be respectful. If you want to attack somebody for their opinions, attack me. And yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate y'all sticking around with me. Look forward to more content coming soon. We got some stuff in the works that I'm very excited for. So yeah, have a nice day. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. And